How's it, guys? I'm busy reinstalling a timing chain on a BMW 320 diesel with the N47 motor. This is out of a F30. So obviously anyone else that wants to do this will know that you need a special lock pin toolkit to do the timing on these, and those kits don't come cheap, and especially if you're only going to do it once, it's not really worth spending that money. So I just want to show you how to do the timing and line everything up without using the kit. Okay, if you're not sure that you can pay very good attention to detail, then don't attempt it, but I'll show you what needs to be where on the motor so you can do it without the kit. So obviously you all know that the kit includes a lock pin to get top dead center. So obviously this is the flex plate. This still needs to be on the motor when you do it. Sorry, I took it off before I made the video, but those of you who's going to attempt it will know what I'm talking about, so I'm just going to carry on. So you'll see all these holes, not these holes. These are the holes that where you bolt the flex plate onto the torque converter. That oval type hole there, you'll see there's only one oval hole on this thing. So that oval hole is where the lock pin needs to go through. Now the size of that hole, don't look at the length, look at the width, is smaller than the hole in the timing chain cover. Now my timing chain cover is inside, I put it inside, I don't want any dust in it, but you'll know what I'm talking about. So the lock pin has got a fat body, it's got a bigger diameter body that goes through the cover, and then only the tip that goes into the flex plate there is smaller. So when you do it, you have to do it the other way around. Get yourself a bolt. Here's my bolt. Get yourself a bolt or a pin or anything straight. That obviously there you won't get it right, but in the width I won't be able to put a larger diameter bolt through this. So put it through from this side and make sure you've got something with a flange so you can push it against the flex plate to ensure it's 90 degrees. This obviously is now done while the flex plate and the cover and everything is on the engine. So then push so that flange there is flat against the surface of the flex plate. Then you know it's 100% 90 degrees there. And then look from the other side where you're supposed to insert the pin through the timing chain cover. Make sure, because that hole is bigger than the hole in the flex plate, make sure that your bolt is exactly in the middle of that hole. Okay? If you've done that, then you know you found top dead center. So what you do then, what I did, just Tipex a line. It's not exactly lined up now, but just Tipex a line on the pulley and on the block. Okay, so there's my top dead center. It's not exactly lined up now because it's at the moment it's lined up to do the pump. So then you don't have to put the cover and the flex plate on all the time to check if you're still on top dead center, if the crank is still on top dead center. Okay, so now you've established the top dead center on the crank. Also, another thing you can check when you've got top dead center on the crank is this dowel pin here where the flex plate goes over. That will be right here. So in other words, the hole to the left of the dowel pin will be 12 o'clock and the hole beneath it will be 6 o'clock. And how you line it up, it needs to line up with this hole there. So what I do is I take something that's very straight. I line it up with the bottom of with the middle of the bottom hole and the top hole, and draw a line, and that line must come right on that hole there. Okay, then you know you've got it on 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock. So when you're at top dead center, the hole to the left of the dowel pin and the hole straight below that will be 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. At the moment I'm set up to set the pump. So when you set the pump, the high pressure pump, it needs to be at 45 degrees past top dead center. So there are 8 holes there. 360 degrees divided by 8 is 45. So in other words, to go from top dead center, when that one is at 12 o'clock, you need to move to the next hole at 12 o'clock, which is that one. So if we now do that, now you can check. If I pull a straight line there, so it lines up exactly with that hole there. Okay, and then also if you check it here on that mark, if you put a 90 degree on here, you'll see that 90 degrees is about there, So the white mark is now exactly between, the white mark on the pulley is now exactly between my finger and the white mark on the block, which means it's 45 past top dead center. But that's just another way to confirm it. The accurate way to do it is to ensure that the hole to the right of the dowel pin is at 12 o'clock. When it's a top dead center, the hole to the left of the dowel pin is at 12 o'clock. When you set the pump, the hole to the right must be at 12 o'clock. So when you've established the crank at 45 degrees past top dead center, you then can line up the high pressure fuel pump. So that mark on the pulley of the high pressure fuel pump must line up with that mark on the block. Okay, so my crank is now at the hole to the left, to the right of the dowel pin is at 12 o'clock. Lines up a straight line to that hole there. So it's at 45 degrees past top dead center. Now my pulley here, the high pressure pump, that mark must line up with the mark on the block. Okay, so now when that is done, you turn the pulley back to top dead center. You've already established it by the mark in front on your pulley, so you just pull it up that those two marks line up, and then you've got your pump is already set. Now your crank is back at top dead center. Now your cams have got, you can see there's two dots on the one and one dot on the other. Let's see if the light's a little bit bad. Let's see from the inside. You can see the two dots there. Two dots and one dot. The one dot must be right in the middle of the two dots. Another way to check is on your inlet cam where the pulley goes. The pulley is off now. You've got like a triangle there between the three holes. The bottom two, the distance from the deck of the block, the deck of the head to the center of that hole must be exactly the same. At the moment it's not exactly the same. You can see that one's a little bit up, so I must move it. So if the distance between the deck of the head and that hole and the distance of the head and that hole is exactly the same, then your cams are at top dead center. Make sure your marks are on the inside, not on the outside, because you can get it 180 degrees out. Another way to check, and that's how the tool works, you'll see if you look down there, there's a flat surface there and a flat surface there. So the degrees between the deck of the block and that must be 90 degrees. That's how the tool works, because the tool just goes over here and it locks that in place. But the best way to check it is to ensure that when your marks are lined up there, one hole between the two holes, these two bolt holes are exactly the same distance above the deck of the head. So then that's top dead center on the crank, on the cam, sorry. You've already done the pump and turn this back to top dead center on the crank, which means I have to turn it back. It's at the moment it's 45 past, so the hole to the right of the dowel pin must be at 12 o'clock. And if you can ensure you keep it like that, then you can set it without having a tool. If any of you find any value out of this, I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. Thank you.